Hubert,
Yeah.
you've been through a normal NCAA tournament experience before with fans being able to leave the hotel. Brady has, Leaky has. What can you tell this team, especially the guys who went through the sort of weirdness last year, about how different this is going to be from anything they've been through?
You know, I really haven't spoken to them about how different the experience is going to be through the NCAA tournament, and I've never done that throughout the entire season. But, you know, before we played college with Charleston, that was going to be the first true road game that a number of guys have ever played with a packed house. I didn't say anything about that. I said very little about preparation, running out of the tunnel, playing in the Smith Center, a packed house. I just told them how excited I was that they were going to get a normal college Carolina experience. And so from that point, it's been all positive from the standpoint of I'm so glad that you're being able to experience like normalcy. And so that's in heading into the NCAA tournament. That's a part that's really exciting for me. Is for the, you know, compared to what we went through last year in Indianapolis, this is going to be very different. So not trying to prepare them, just really excited for them that they get to experience what the NCAA tournament is about.
Armando said you were really pushing details like setting a screen right, everything right now, maybe even more locked in than usual. Kind of what are the...
No, I'm locked in all the time. There's no more locked inness.
Well,
Either you're locked in or you're not locked in. I don't know that I'm more locked in.
he was describing it as more, but kind of what's your message with, I guess...
Maybe he's listening more. let's take it from that perspective.
Right. What's your message that you're trying to get across to these guys, maybe with details or whatever? Is there anything different in the message than it was during the regular season?
Not at all. You know, as I said before, whether it's shoot around, practice, game, ACC tournament, NCAA tournament, from my perspective, it's always live action. And so we always talk about the details and how important it is to prepare to the best of your ability, to practice as hard as you can, to put yourself in a position to play your best. And so that message has been clear, definitive, and consistent throughout the entire season. And so there is no difference. This is live action.
Coach, after the Virginia Tech game, is there any benefit of getting some extra rest? Armando and Leaky spoke about getting extra time.
And it is. I mean, you know, I told the team right after the game I was disappointed because I wanted them to have that experience of playing an ACC final and winning an ACC tournament championship. That's something that I experienced as a player, and that's something that I want all of our players to experience. So I was disappointed, but I told them not to be discouraged, to be encouraged about the year that they have had and the position that we're in. And also, you know, in the ACC tournament, you know, playing back-to-back games with the limited rotation that we have, that's very difficult. And to play against, I think I told you, playing against probably the two worst teams is Virginia Tech, because, you know, the length of their possessions and how they run their offense, it's hard. And so, yes, rest is really good for this group. And the long timeouts in the NCAA tournament are really good for this group as well. So I'm looking forward to that.
Hubert, Leaky mentioned that he liked where you guys are at right now, liked the momentum, and he said that if guys have trusted you all season long, but maybe now they're buying into their own roles, trusting each other a little bit more. Have you gotten a sense of that too? And is it fair to say that, you know, they are finally, like, can you see that they're starting to gel maybe even a little bit more week by week?
I do. I've said that over the last month, especially over the last month, maybe the last month and a half, this is the most together that I feel like our group has been, and the healthiest that I felt like our team has been. I think going through adversity and being able to persevere really builds that type of bond, but also I think just going through a season and shared experiences also helps. I mean, just in regular relationships, it takes time to develop trust. It takes time to figure each other out. And so even though that I was an assistant coach, this is the first year that I was their head coach. This is first year for a lot of, this year was a lot of newness. And so it just takes time to get to know each other and to understand where each other are coming from, to feel comfortable with each other. And after 11 and a half months of being together nonstop almost every day, it's our relationship, I feel like, just continues to get better and better. It's in a good place.
Hubert, with the team being seated where it is as a number 8, is it hard not to look back on that 1990 team that made the Sweet 16 as an 8 seed?
Yeah, well, I remember, like, I told the team when I was here at Carolina, I don't remember, like, being a seed was never something that I ever thought about. I couldn't remember what seed we were the 4 years that I was here. I've never been big on seeding. I've been big on competing and having a chance to win a championship. And so at the end of the day, in the NCAA tournament, there's 68 successful teams. So you're gonna have to play well against a good team. So seeding really doesn't mean very much to me. I do remember 1990, and I remember playing Oklahoma. Not only were they the #1 seed, I think they were the #1 team in the country. We were playing in Austin, Texas. And the other thing that I remember is the play where Rick Fox hit the shot. The play was actually for me. And as soon as we left the huddle, Coach Smith called us all back in. He goes, "Hubert, you make the pass, and Rick, you take the shot." And I remember being so thankful that he made that change. I wasn't really confident at that time shooting the ball, and I did not want that shot, but I felt comfortable making that pass. And I'm glad that Coach Smith changed it at the last second, and I'm glad Rick hit that shot.
If he changed his mind, do you think he could sense something in you?
I was hoping he said something. In the huddle, I didn't look very confident.
Has that happened all this year when you were coaching? Did you notice something and flip it before, as they were walking back on the court?
Yeah, I've done that before. I've done that before, not only offensively, but from a defensive standpoint, that this might not be a good matchup, let's do this, or a certain play. He didn't give me a good look. He did laugh at my joke. Let's change this around. And so I'm glad Coach Smith recognized that I wasn't as confident as I wanted to be in that situation to take that shot.
But overall, in general, thinking back to that 1990 team, what sense of confidence did you guys have going into that game? Because I remember Dick Vitale calling the upset, off top. It almost seems like a lot of people expected Carolina to win, so it kind of Rosario created pressure on you guys.
Yeah, we were a really good basketball team. I mean, I think on that team we had 6 pros. So even though during the season it wasn't as successful as years past, we felt really good about our team and about our chances. And it all, and this is one of the things that I try to communicate to the team, is we really, like, Coach Smith really got us, we bought into his concept of just preparing and practicing and just doing the things that we do in practice on a consistent basis, and that'll put us in a position to win a game. And so we bought into that. We really believed in that, and playing in the ACC, we were pretty successful. We felt confident that we could beat anybody in the country, and at that time it was Oklahoma.
For a couple more minutes, so get a minute.
Hubert, is the tape from the Texas game last year in any way at all valuable? Obviously, they played Marquette last year, but kind of a totally different team, totally different coach. Is the tape from Texas against Shaka, do you go back and look at that? Is that helpful this week?
I don't think that's very helpful. I mean, that's a totally different team. I do know, what is helpful is whether at VCU, Texas, and now at Marquette, Shaka Smart's teams have always been tough. They've been physical. They've been hard-nosed. They get after it defensively. They play fast pace, and They have versatile guys on the offensive end that can post, can drive, and do multiple things, whether it's a perimeter player or a front court player. But his teams have been consistent. They've been fast-paced, they've been physical, they've been tough, and they've been hard-nosed. And so whether it's, you know, a different Marquette team or comparing it to Texas, those are the type of teams that he coaches. And so, you know, when we play Marquette on Thursday, we know what we're getting into.
Hubert, there's been a couple times this year when you've talked about how physicality by an opponent has bothered your guys.
It has.
How do you address that going into this game when you know Marquette's going to be physical?
Well, maybe that's what Armando was talking about in terms of I've been straightforward and direct. That's the type of game it's going to be. And so, just like I said before the Duke game, you're going to have to plant your feet, you're going to have to stand your ground, and you're going to have to fight back. And so if somebody elbows you, then you elbow them back. If somebody pushes you, you push them back. If somebody kicks you, you kick them back. And so that's the type of game that you're going to have to play. And so I've been clear and straightforward with the guys about what kind of game it's going to be. And my expectation is for us not to kick back or push back or elbow back, is for us to make the first kick, the first punch, and to stand our ground and plant our feet. And that is what is required for Thursday's game. And if you're not ready for that, then let me know.
Hubert with transfers, so much is about finding the right fit to get comfortable and be successful, and sometimes it can take time in a new place. Brady described, though, that he felt pretty comfortable right away and the right fit. Did you sense it would take time for him, and kind of how valuable he's been as far as all year? If he's been that comfortable, like, have you noticed him having to have a transition at all?
No, the transition has been, it's so good. It feels like Brady has been here for 4 years. And I just be honest with you, I don't know if there's a formula whether it fits or not. It either fits or it doesn't. And I think the really cool thing is, like, we knew we only had 1 year with Brady. And for somebody that has lived in Oklahoma his entire life, and this is the first time ever living outside of Oklahoma, and for him to come here, like, the guys on the team love him. Like, I can't imagine not coaching him. And we've been together, like, a year ago, I didn't even know him. We had never spoken. And so that's just really, I think it's unique. You know, you look at the transfers that we've gotten in the past, and, you know, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And, you know, Cam Johnson, it just worked for whatever reason. You know, there's a number of factors, and for Brady, it just works. I wish there's some way we can get a COVID year. You know, and then they can bring him back again. He's been that off the chart. I love that dude to death.
Coach, thank you very much. Everybody, thank you.